We're gonna get a helicopter soon. Hey, it's Kathy, and I love to be selling. I am here live in New York City with Denzel Singletary, who dropped by from Washington, D.C. Denzel works with eBay, and we've got noise here because we're on the street, so be patient, you guys. We love New York. Denzel's up from Washington. He is with eBay Government Relations, and I'm going to let him introduce himself and explain what eBay Government Relations is, because not everybody knows what eBay Government Relations is, and I want you guys to know because it's a great branch of eBay, and they work night and day to take care of sellers. So hang on a second. Here comes Denzel.
Great. Thanks, Kathy.
You're welcome.
Hey, everyone. Denzel Singletary. I'm the manager of Global Government Relations. This is Bill Ingersoll. He sells motor parts. And basically, one of his major issues with the Postal Service was that they have very limited hours.
Okay.
And I know that people, in today's day and age, really want items to come as fast as possible.
That's great. I think we got better reception here, so good. We'll stand right here.
Great.
Denzel's doing very well with the walkie-talkie. We got to put our there we go. Okay. Now, what I want to talk to is cross-border trade, because that's really a big issue. I'm going to stand over here with the microphone. So talk as far as what can we as sellers do? Because I know, listen, cross-border trade is you're shipping anywhere outside the United States. So what issues are you working on with eBay Government Relations to help us so that we have more shoppers in non-U.S. countries that are buying with us? What are you guys doing to help us?
Great. So this week we talked about de minimis thresholds.
Explain de minimis, because that's a word where I go,
the word, right. It's a crazy word. But all it means is that you pay a certain tax, essentially, or what we call a tariff, to sell into another country. So for example, Canada has a very low de minimis threshold. It's $20, meaning...
So if I'm in Canada and I buy something from an American seller and it's more than $20, I'm paying customs on it, right? The Canadian shopper is?
Yep.
So that means I am not going to be as inclined to shop with the U.S. Is that anything going into Canada?
Anything going into Canada. And it's really, if you think about it, it's a way for them to protect their retail industry. Now...
That's exactly what they're doing.
Exactly what they're doing. That's not fair, because guess what? For our threshold for Canada, it's $800.
So wait a minute. If I'm a Canadian seller and I'm shipping into the United States, U.S., we don't get charged customs unless I'm shopping over $800. That's $800. Totally unfair.
Totally unfair. So like I said, $20 versus $800.
So they don't have to be reciprocal.
No.
Right? Oh, that's very unfair.
Very unfair. So on the other hand, Mexico also has a low one. Now, they recently raised it from $50 to $100. But again,
still low.
Still not reciprocal.
Okay.
So we want to make sure that trade is enabling our sellers to be able to sell in other places, to, essentially have that freedom to do so. We also want to make sure it's less complicated. I met some sellers this week who talked about how a lot of their packages had been confiscated at border for, 3 and 4 weeks, and really, again, hindering their sales. So when we advocated in front of Congress this week, we talked about really simplifying this process and making sure cross-border trade is a real thing. when we talk about eBay, we have 180 million customers around the world. We really want to make sure you guys are able to reach those people, no matter if they're in Canada, in Mexico, and wherever else.
I think that's great. So this is what eBay Government Relations is doing for us, you guys. They're helping to get the de minimis threshold, so that means that the non-US buyers, it's a higher rate before they're paying customs. You know this, people are always, they're very, very conscious of their customs and their tariffs. So anything to raise the threshold so that they can buy more from us before they have to pay customs, especially it should be reciprocal.
Yes.
I mean, for the US, if they're able to send me $800 worth of stuff, like I'm shopping from the UK or Italy or France, it should be the same back. I'm thinking particularly Canada, because we're so close. I mean, that really is, not a good thing. Now, ahead to eBay Open, because Denzel and eBay Government Relations is going to be alive and well at eBay Open. So you're going to have a booth. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So last year we had a booth and we talked about everything from internet sales tax and just any sort of issues that you guys wanted to discuss. We also talked about the seller fly-in that we do, like I said, in DC.
Okay.
We talked about some various campaigns that we've done. One of my favorite campaigns we did, even though we didn't have as good as an outcome, is we organized, and Kathy helped with this, 100 sellers from around the country, 2 from each state, to sign an amicus brief to go to the Supreme Court.
Explain what an amicus brief is.
Yeah, so basically an amicus brief is a petition to the court basically saying this is why something is important. When we were talking about internet sales tax in front of the court, we wanted to make sure they knew that we had people from all over the country in every state who really oppose this idea of being able to tax from any municipality. I was explaining it to someone the other day as simple as this. If I am from Buffalo and I'm buying something from you or you're selling something to me, that court decision basically will allow me to charge from any municipality. So rather from in Wyoming County, Erie County, all these different places that are just really going to complicate sales tax.
Yeah. If you have questions about sales tax, and I know that's always like a top question, eBay Government Relations has a great Facebook page, eBay Main Street. So hop over there, like the page, you can click message, and you can message them any question. So just say, hey, this thing about sales tax or cross-border trade or anything that involves a government policy. eBay Government Relations, eBay Main Street is where you're going to go. Now you're going to be at eBay Open. So
and I'll give you our website as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
government_relations at ebay.com. You can also get your questions answered there.
And they have their policies up so you know what eBay's stand is on various issues. Now, if you're going to Las Vegas in July, yay, eBay Government Relations will have a booth. Denzel, you're going, yes?
I will be there.
Denzel's going to Vegas.
I'll be at the booth, yes.
So you can stop by, again, ask him questions, because sometimes it's easier, face-to-face. But stop on by and do that. But they are working for us. I mean, again, things where I go, de minimis? What are you talking about? But they explain it, which is it's the amount of money a shopper can spend before they pay customs. And the higher that is, obviously, the more likely they are to come in and shop with us, because they're not paid. Customs and duties can be extremely high in some countries. So they're very aware of that. So the fact that eBay Government Relations is working very hard to raise it so it's as high as possible with all countries around the world. And also sales tax, because it is very different in every state. It does get confusing. There's different collection rules. Some is done by marketplace, which means eBay's collecting it, like Pennsylvania. Some are not, like New York. And I'm sorry about the noise, you guys, but we're on the street. But Denzel and everybody at eBay Government Relations is working very, very hard for all of us. And a plug for the Ambassador Program.
Please.
Now, just for you to know, so you'll hop over to eBay Government Relations website or the eBay Main Street, just message and say, I want to be an ambassador. You'll let them know what state you're in. They'll get a hold of you. They'll get your email. You'll sign up. I just want you to know, it literally takes minutes a month. Right? If you're invited for DC fly-in, it's great. That's more than minutes a month. But you'll be asked, you'll get an email about different issues like cross-border trade, and they'll say, please click this, send this, and it automatically fills in your senators, your congressmen, so you don't have to look up who it is. eBay Main Street knows who it is. And they send it, and you'll just read the policy. Is this something you agree with? so far I've agreed with everything, but if it's something you don't agree with, then you just don't send that email.
Right.
But it literally, it's 60 seconds. It's so easy because they fill in the representative or the senator. You have a little brief about what the topic is so you know what you're signing for, and it's done. And it matters. It matters so much. When they get 10,000 letters, 20,000 letters, and one of them was over 1 million letters.
Yeah, 1 million signatures.
It matters. They pay attention to that. So when these issues come up, like de minimis is a big one because
Yes.
that really helps us.
Yes.
If the de minimis thresholds are higher, particularly for Canada and Mexico because they're close to us, especially Canada, because I ship a lot to Canada, is it really helps incentivize them to shop with us. The reason they have it so low, like Denzel was saying, it's to favor the local retail. And I'm all for helping local retail, but $20 is ridiculously low. I mean,
Very
it
low.
really is. When we're 800, at least to be the same as the United States. There's no reason not to. And Denzel's here, and isn't this sweet? He messaged me and he goes, I'm in the area, want me to come on over? I'm like, come on over, we'll live stream. Chris, Dorinda, Jeff, I see you all. Any quick questions for Denzel before we sign off? And I'm sorry about the streaming at the beginning. For some reason, this block has wonky Wi-Fi. You guys are all good? Great, but I wanted you to meet Denzel in person. Because
please-
again, government relations often, like, you'll see the pictures of Washington, but you have no idea
See
who
the
these people are.
Right. Well, and I also wanted to provide you all with my contact information.
Yeah, go ahead.
My email is dsingletary.
Spell your name out.
SINGLETARY at ebay.com. That's the best way to reach me. And before we sign off, because I've been with eBay for a little over a year and a half, Kathy has been such a great person and so helpful with me. She also just introduced me to an amazing coffee place. So I want to give her a gift card because, again, we appreciate Kathy. We love Kathy. I love you all. And like I said, I want to be helpful. So again, my email is dsingletary, SINGLETARY at ebay.com. And please reach out to me if you have any questions related to government relations or really anything, because I can at least find the person who can answer your questions.
Denzel knows a lot of people. Chris, thank you. And thank you for thanking Denzel because he works so
Chris.
hard. And again, I'm glad to show him because again, so many times we're like, eBay government, you know, we know the various teams, but we don't get to meet the people on the team. And also for those of you who don't get to go to eBay Open, as much fun as it is, you get to meet team members and staff members. So when they're in town here in New York, I do try to live stream so we can meet them all. So thanks you guys.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
all.
joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye.